So hi there guys, it's Phil here from Fidelity Factory, and in the last video we set up our SharePoint list, and now we're going to continue on making our project team management app. And yeah, we've got our SharePoint list in place, Phil's site over here. So if you are wondering how we set that up, check out the previous video. And we are now going to set up our Power App to actually do this. So I'm going to click New Apps. I'm here in the Power Apps portal at make.powerapps.com. I'm at Apps over here. I'm going to select New Apps, New Canvas app. And this app is all about putting people, managing my team that are working for me. So I'm going to make this app for a tablet, and I'm just going to start off with a blank app. So now this is loaded up. It gives me some information here. I'm going to just skip that, and we're going to just start from blank. So straight away I've got screen 1, and I'm going to make this our kind of like our gallery screen. When we come in, it'll show a list of people who I have on different projects. It'll actually just show a list of this information. So let's try that. I'm going to just rename my screen. So I'm going to call it SCR for screen, and I'm just going to call it gallery to start with. So I know that that's my gallery screen. So let's see if we can maybe connect up our SharePoint list first of all. So I'm going to go to my data button here in this tree over here on the left, and go down to connectors and select SharePoint. And SharePoint. And over here, once it loads up, it gives me a few lists. My one was Phil's site here, so that's perfect. And it was the project team management list. So I'm going to connect that up. If you remember, that's what we called our list here inside my SharePoint site. So let's hop back here. I'm going to hit connect. And nothing major is going to happen straight away, but now I'm going to insert my gallery. So my gallery from over here, I'm going to get a, I'm trying to decide between a vertical with some of that information in there already or blank vertical. I'm going to go to blank vertical for now and make it from scratch. So let's just stretch this out across the screen a little bit. We'll have to change all this in a while anyway, like tidy it up. Let's just make sure we can get some information running through this. So now I've got my gallery here, so now let's connect it. So right now it's connected to custom gallery sample. Let's connect it to our SharePoint list. So let's see if we can get our, I think it's project team management. So let's see if we get that list, and there it is. Once I start typing it in, it pops up here. This is all under the items property for that gallery. So over here, items, and let's see if we can connect that up. Project team management list. And now it's connected, but I actually don't have any elements in here to display anything. So let's insert something. Let's insert a label. And let's see if we can get, ooh, I've lost my label there somewhere. Let's go back to our tree view now and try and get these things. So sometimes I find I can lose some of these items that I bring in. So sometimes while I'm doing this, I will just put a border on something like this. So I might put 2. So now let's see. This is our title, our this item.title. So that if you remember in our last video, we actually hid the title field, so the title field is blank. So let's see if we can get something else here, like our comment or our actual employee, I think is what we called one of these fields. So employee. So I'm getting an error there, and if you remember, when we set up our SharePoint list, our employee field is a people picker. So it actually gets a lot of information. It's not just a text field. So when I say .employee, it's coming back with, let's say, my email, the picture that goes along with my account. So I need to specify what I really want is actually my display name. So I'm going to add that in there. And there we go. We've got some information here straight away. So this is good because it lets us know that, okay, our gallery is connecting to it. So that's good. And let's grab something else. I'm actually going to just duplicate this. I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So I'm going to have another one. And actually, if you look at this, something weird happened there, kind of landed outside my gallery. So I'm actually going to put a bit of a border on my gallery. And right now I'm kind of already a little bit regretting not going with a gallery that was not, let's say, completely blank. Because the completely blank one leaves a lot of work here of kind of putting together some of these lines in there like that. That's not bad there. That gives us at least a kind of a border around things. I'm going to insert a little rectangle as well, just to create a border between our two little, our different items in this gallery. So let's see if we've got a rectangle here. Here we go. I'm going to stretch this out across the whole width of, tricky to kind of try and grab the thing you want sometimes here. Stretch it out across the whole width of this item in the gallery, and let's give it a height of just 1. I just want a little thin line to say, yeah, that's where our gallery kind of starts. That's where item 2 will be. So Philip Ryan is there. So now let's go with this next one. I'm going to say this item dot, and I'm going to grab the project, I think is what I called another one of my items in SharePoint. Now I'm getting an error here, and I just remembered I never actually updated something here. So I need to cut this, because that label for some reason landed outside my gallery. So I'm going to try and paste it back in here. Maybe I can't. Let's see if I hit paste there. Now that's good, because now it's back inside my gallery. If you can see here in the tree view, it kind of gives you an idea of what's in that gallery. I'm going to call this project. And that's demo videos coming up. If you remember, that's what I labeled that. I'm going to copy this, paste it. And I've got a third one. There was 3 pieces of information that I had. And this one's comments. So there we've got some comments. So now I've kind of displaying all my information, and you could even put in stuff like maybe last modified, something like that. Might be useful, so I'm going to do that. Put in a new one over here, and let's put in modified. I'll give you kind of a modified date and time, which is super. So now I've got all that information, and I'm actually going to add in a second line here, just that you see the gallery. So back in my SharePoint, I'm going to add in another item in here. I'm going to select a different person I work with here, and their project is, let's say, making a list or something like that. And this needs to be done by 2021, let's say. Just to fill out a little bit of information in here. So now I've got an extra person in there. So now let's go back and see if this updates in our app. So I'm going to hop over to my SharePoint, my connectors here, my data connectors. Click on this little ellipsis, and I'm going to refresh my data. And hopefully I get an extra line now. And if you look at that, now I've got that second item to do with Sean here. So we can see I'm building up this gallery here. It's still, it doesn't look terrific, but it's our information slowly coming together on this. So I'm going to actually maybe tidy some of this up a little bit. Like, let's start laying stuff out the way we want it to look. So I'm going to make my name a little bit bigger. We're not going to have a whole lot of information, so I think we can make stuff a little bit larger where we need it. I want to get rid of these borders off everything, because they serve their purpose when we were, let's say, getting it together, so that you don't lose a blank label on the screen. But after that, I don't think we needed them. So I'm going to put my name there, and actually maybe I could do something interesting like, let's copy this and paste this. Just going to make a copy of that label. And let's get some other information, see what other information we can get out of that people field that we have. Get our email, our job title. Not sure if we'll have any job titles assigned here or anything. So maybe we could do Yeah, well, maybe we're not going to do a whole lot. If I do that picture, it gives me, because I've got a label, maybe I could do a media. Let's put in an image. Let's cut that. And let's put it in here. And let's see if we could do maybe that. If we do, and what is my list name is called Project Team Management. So I'm going to go on that image item Project Team Management.list. Or let's say this item, I believe, is what I really need, because it's in here. It's in on my gallery. So let's go with this item. Dot employee. So I'm going to go to my employee item. And let's see if we can do that picture. Let's see what comes up. I think I have my picture set, so hopefully something pops up. And that's pretty cool. So we've got our picture here. So I'm going to lay out my screen a little bit like this, where I'm going to move my picture in under here. And we can maybe put together a few other little line items, but there's my demo video and comments and my modified. Maybe we could make this a lot smaller. I'm not sure, let me think. So if we have got Philip Bryan there, maybe we could put we actually could make this a lot narrower maybe. But because we're using this screen, maybe we'll keep it wide and maybe keep things short. So let's move this over here. Let's move my picture and just make it a little thumbnail beside my name. So something like that, and let's then narrow up everything else. And see how that looks now. So different things then we could do to make this look a little bit nicer. Let's look at this rectangle down here. And yeah, I'm going to make it, let's say the width. Why don't we make it parent.width? That way it'll kind of always be the width of our gallery, which kind of is handy. Parent.width, which means it'll always kind of cover over there, assuming that we also make our x value 0. So that's perfect. So now we've got this kind of gallery going on. Maybe we could do something a little bit nice now with our kind of how it's presented. Let's tidy up this page a little bit before we move on too much. Let's put in a little headline part. Let's put in something like this. Let's make it purple. So all I've done there is I put in a label. I'm going to put in a purple part, and let's make our writing white. Let's center our writing and let's make it somewhere around 30. And I'm just going to call it the project team management app. So I have that across the top. And here are all our items that we've got going on. Let's see if we can make a little more sense out of what this is. I'm going to move this over here, because I'm actually going to add in one extra thing here as well. I'm going to add in a little arrow that you can click that will, let's say, take you into a certain item so that you could edit it. So let's see, where is my arrow here? Let's say pick this one here. Let's put this over here so that you could click on that item and it'll bring you into it. I'm going to just add a little bit of padding on every side, so that padding is handy because it'll kind of make it smaller. I don't want my arrow as big as that, but also it kind of keeps the clickable area quite large. So I'm going to put 10 padding on every side, and even though my arrow is small, you can see I can still kind of click a lot of that area and it's still going to be responsive, so that's great. I'm going to move my date over here. I tidy it up to the top a little bit. Let's stretch this out a little bit, my comments. I'm going to move that up a bit as well. I'm going to move my demo video, my title, to here. And I actually might put my picture to the left hand side of my name. So now we can even tighten this up even more. Let's move our rectangle up a little bit. And let's move this up. And this up. And now we've got this really kind of tight layout of everything here, which is nice. I'm going to bold up my name. And finally, I'm going to put in some little headlines here so that you know what is each part here. So let's just grab a label. And this is going to be my name. So I'm just going to call this name. And this is the, and I'm just copying that and pasting it across. This is the project I'm on. And this is the comments. And let's go again, and let's take the very last one is last modified. Just going to say maybe modified date. No, last modified is probably good. Last modified. And let's give each of them, I'm going to try and keep everything together. So I'm going to make them all Lato, and I'm going to make these all semi-bold. And same, I'm going to try and keep all my fonts that we use here as kind of just one standard font. So let's go with that Lato font, same at our top here. Try and keep a overall theme going through the app. Okay, so that's my gallery, let's say, laid out so far. What I'm going to do next, what I'm going to do off camera, is rename all these labels so that there's something that I can understand. Because right now, when we go to, let's say, put some code in on these things, it's going to be a nightmare to to look through these labels and try and figure out that. Because after this, what I want to do is actually put in, let's say, a search bar that we could search some of this information so that we can kind of actually filter through all our different different projects and people who are on the projects. So that's in the next video. I'll see you then.